Oli, Oli, Oli! Oh, oh, oh! Hello, Motor Rider World fans, and welcome to Paddock Talk, MotoGP Thailand Sunday race day. And what a spanner was thrown in the works there out at the Buriram circuit. Rain was threatened throughout the whole weekend. We were told it was going to pour on Friday, it was going to pour on Saturday. Maybe it would be dry for Sunday and race day. It was complete opposite. The rain gods came and they showered down on the track. And it made it very entertaining. There's no doubt about that. Very, very, very tricky conditions. It looked so dodgy. When I watched it and I saw all that standing water and those BMW pace cars going through aquaplaning and, you know, the looks on Fabio and a lot of the Oaks faces, it really did look testing and very tricky for all the riders. But nevertheless, MotoGP was able to take place, especially after the Moto2. I mean, how dodgy was Moto2 coming down that front straight with all that rain, just bucketing down. Everything that happened in Moto2, I was kind of thinking, oh, God, are we going to get a MotoGP race? What's going to happen? Are they going to delay it till Monday? Are they going to race in lightning and, you know, who knows what? But the race thankfully got underway, and Miguel Oliveira, tip of the hat to you, young man. That was a phenomenal ride. Under all the pressure, all the riders were under. Not one lap in wet conditions was spun the whole weekend leading up to the race. And for those riders to go out there, not a lot of crashes, hardly any crashes. I mean, there was Luca Marini, one rider that definitely did crash, and then Remy Gardner, I think. So that is why they are the best riders in the world in that category. And it was a phenomenal job by all of them. But Miguel Oliveira, he's cool as ice, that guy. He just makes it look so easy, as he did earlier on the season when he picked up his first win of the season, and you know, he really does. He just picks them off one by one, came through the field like just unfazed, like, hey guys, sorry I'm coming through, just take it easy, don't mind me, I'm just going to go win this race, no problems here. It just shows the confidence and the supreme talent of Miguel Oliveira. It's been a tricky season for him, especially after that win earlier in the season. Just hasn't been able to get it together. Big announcement that he's going to RNF Aprilia. I think he's going to do a phenomenal job there. If Aprilia and RNF can give him the package he deserves, that's all up in the air at the moment with, you know, RNF with no title sponsor and an end. But the guy just came out in those tricky conditions and just stamped his authority on the field. So definitely top contender for the rider of the day. Probably in my mind does get rider of the day, but I've got a few others that certainly fall under that category. Jack Miller, another brilliant ride from Jack Miller. And as he was going around, when he was leading the race, and the commentators, and I couldn't believe it, I mean, at one stage he was sitting like 35 points off the championship lead. He sits fifth overall now, 40 points off, because he lost the 5 points that he would have got for first place to Miguel Oliveira. And then you're thinking 35 points off. This guy wasn't even mentioned in the championship hunt the last couple of races. We didn't even think, you know, it was, there's Jack getting along with his business. Yeah, you're gonna be, the sidekick. You're gonna be the wingman to Pecco. And all of a sudden, when he was leading that race, even now, he sits only 40 points off. There's still 75 points up for grabs. So yeah, look, Pecco is definitely the man. Pecco is Ducati's man for this championship. Pecco still said this was like a victory for him. And hats off to Pecco Bagnaia, who I put forward as a potential rider of the day candidate, because he's got so much to play for. Him, Fabio Quartararo, Aleix and Nea Bastianini had everything to play for. Those are really your front runners in the championship contention. Motegi was a nightmare for Pecco Bagnaia. Everything that happened there, he didn't have a feeling even in the wet conditions there, but he just fluffed his lines basically at Motegi and came back in Thailand in the dry conditions, did a great job, was on the front row of the grid, put himself right where he needed to be. But then when that rain came, I mean, what must have been going through his mind? I liked him on pit wall, cheering the BMW pace car on. He looked cool, calm and relaxed, and he brought that into the race. And despite the pressure coming from Marc Marquez, which is never easy, despite the pressure coming from Zarco, who I wish they had just shot to Tardozzi and Paolo Giabatti's face when Zarco was putting in those fast laps and he got into the back of Zarco. And I would love to have seen it if there was communication sent, although Tardozzi did say going into the race, all the Ducati riders were kind of told and scripted and said, listen, this is in this scenario, you support Pecco. And you could see Zarco got to the point and he just went, yeah, Ducati contract, Ducati staying in favour with Ducati or going for glory. And to me, I think he did the right thing. Zarco, yeah, potentially could have been his first race win there, but there was no guarantee of that. Certainly with Oliveira and Miller not making any mistakes out front. I think Zarco played the right card there by sitting behind Pecco, playing the teammate role, kind of obeying Ducati team orders. And that could be the difference come the end of the season of Ducati winning this championship and Ducati not. So well done, Johan Zarco. It's a pity, it must be so hard when you've got the pace, certainly to be on the podium and you're not allowed to really, go for it. But nevertheless, he played a brilliant role. But as I said, Pecco, in my mind, one of the contenders for riders of the day, because all that pressure thrown into that situation that, certainly cracked in terms of Aleix Espargaro and Fabio Quartararo, certainly. And for Pecco to not put a foot wrong, to just be a machine and just be that solid kind of Pecco that we needed. I've always said there's been this chink in an armour of Pecco, and it showed at Motegi. And in that kind of situation, you could have forgiven him had that chink, come up and he had made a mistake or gone down or something. But he never. He was just relentless. He was ruthless, and he brought it home in third place. And as he said, to him, that was like a win. He now sits only 2 points behind Fabio Quartararo in this championship. Fabio, 17th place, hated the conditions, never looked comfortable, just never got going, did Fabio Quartararo. And all the pressure is on him now. And the pressure's been on him for a long time now. I was kind of sitting after the race thinking, when did Fabio Quartararo last win a MotoGP race? And it didn't come to me. I had to go onto Google and find out, onto the MotoGP website, and find out when Fabio had won his last race. 8 rounds ago, let me just check my notes here. 8 rounds ago at Sachsenring was Fabio Quartararo's last win. I mean, that is incredible to think. We know Pecco went on that 4-race winning streak since then. And this championship's all to play for. And it's Phillip Island next, which I think the Ducatis are just going to be supremely good at. I think the Yamaha will be good there. I just think those Ducatis are going to be so good. I think the KTMs are going to be good. I think the Aprilias are going to be good. So Fabio is really going to be up against all 8 Ducatis once again. Potentially 2 Red Bull KTMs. A Marc Marquez on his Honda. So all the pressure is on Fabio Quartararo because he just doesn't have the same kind of support as Pecco does with Zarco, with Miller, with Bezzecchi, with everyone there able to take points off, and support Pecco. Fabio, to hold on to that title. Phillip Island, Sepang, I think is going to be a Ducati circuit. Valencia, I think, is where potentially Fabio could gain back some points. But it's not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy. And anyway, I feel for Fabio Quartararo because he's drained that Yamaha of all its potential, and it just seems they might fall short. This is the strongest title bid Ducati have had in a long time. Yes, Dovi against Marc Marquez a couple of years ago, but kind of knew it was always going to be Marc Marquez. Pecco with the dominance and the dominance and the dominance that is Ducati these days, with this bike that just has no faults. There's no flaws in that Ducati anymore. It steers, the understeering's gone, it carries corner speed, it stops, it accelerates, it's got top speed, it's just got everything. And they've got 8 riders on the grid. So it was a damaging race day for Fabio Quartararo, and it hurts me to say that because the kid has put in so much effort. Forget about Yamaha. Fabio Quartararo has put in so much effort that if he doesn't win it, I mean, I'll cry tears with the boy. I really will. But then if Pecco wins it, you can go, well, he's deserved it in many ways as well because, runner-up last year, cracked under the pressure there. But this year, anyway, listen, it's exciting. This is what we wanted. We didn't want guys running away with championships. It's excitement. The excitement is there. So Miguel Oliveira, top spot. Jack Miller, phenomenal ride. Pecco Bagnaia, another contender for Rider of the Day. Another contender Rider of the Day for me was Maverick Vinales. I spoke in my Saturday roundup how, he was throwing his toys out the cot and are we going to see this Maverick and what kind of Maverick's going to come out on Sunday and is he going to try and blow up in Aprilia or what's going to happen? And Maverick Vinales from 17th to 7th. tip of the cap to you, sir. Brilliant to mentally get yourself in the position in those tricky conditions. He could have easily thrown his toys out the cot because it's raining, and he did a phenomenal job there. Well done to him. And then Alex Marquez also from 20th on the grid up into 8th place. Another contender for Rider of the Day there for me. There's no doubt about that. Big talking point early on. Aleix on Brad Binder. Now, fanboy Brad Binder cap off. Journalist, middle ground cap on. And I think the incident was shown too late. It was shown as Aleix was already in the corner with Brad and pushing him away. It started a lot earlier than that. And I remember watching it live and seeing Aleix coming, and I still went, oh no, he's going to hit Aleix. Then they cut away, and I still had my mom and my sister with me, and I said, I'm telling you now, he's hit Brad. And then Brad's name tumbled down the order down to 15th or something. He said, I'm telling you now, Aleix hit Brad. And then they showed the whole incident under review and. But it started along, Aleix came from such a long way back to make that move on Brad. And to me, it deserved the long lap penalty. I know Aleix is screaming and shouting, and this is racing. But if you look at like Munoz in Moto3, the incidents that he's been given long lap for, and there's plenty of other cases where long lap penalties have been given for probably less harsh moves. But certainly, I think it was warranted a long lap penalty. Let me know what you think in the comment section, please. Love to hear your opinions. But as I say, forgetting the fact that I'm South African and a Brad Binder fan, I looked at the incident and I think Aleix Espargaro did impede Brad Binder. He certainly did run into him on the inside and shoved him off the track. So it deserved that long lap penalty. Nevertheless, well done to Aleix for coming back to 11th. Damage limitations there. He still sits third in the championship, only 20 points off. So, at the beginning of the year when Aleix was having this great run, I still had question marks. I certainly didn't think with 4 rounds to go that Aleix Espargaro and Aprilia would still be in for the title and 20 points behind in 3rd place. So again, tip of the cap, although I don't like you. Fanboy cap back on, Brad Binder fanboy cap on. Aleix, you bastard! Why did you hit our Brad Binder off? Because also rewind, just as they came across the line before that, Brad Binder came across the line right on Johan Zarco's tailpipe before that incident happened, and we all know what happened with Zarco. He found himself in 4th place. So what could have been, you never know. Brad maybe couldn't have had the pace to go with Zarco, but certainly that race did impede Brad. He still picked up 10th place, and a fine job there from Brad to recover to 10th, because he still got past Aleix. At one stage he was sitting in 12th or 13th, and you thought, oh, that's it. He still managed to get himself past Aleix Espargaro and Alex Rins in the dying stages there. So brilliant ride from Brad. And another note for Brad Binder, 6th in the World Championship, only 65 points off the championship lead. Now, 65 points is a lot, I know that. But considering the season that he's had, only those 2 podiums, you'd think he would be miles back. Just shows you how consistent the guy is. He's had 1 DNF, can't remember what the race was again. I forgot to write it down. I thought it would stick in my mind, but it hasn't. But only 1 DNF this year so far, and he's just that machine, the machete. He's the weapon. Brad Binder. He's an absolute weapon. More notes. Anea Bastianini, he was down in 6th place, still 4th in the championship, 39 points, I should say, off the championship lead. So not bad. Maverick Vinales, I spoke about him. Brilliant ride there from him. Franco Morbidelli, top Yamaha in 13th place. So let's hope he can extract the positives from that, a little bit of confidence knowing that he was the top Yamaha there in 13th. Marco Bezzecchi from pole position looked so good early on, and then had to kind of drop that position. And then that just mentally, I don't know what it did for him, but he just dropped like a stone. He dropped all the way down into 16th place. Darren Binder was having a good job in 18th, just behind Maverick Vinales. Just shows the progression of Maverick Vinales. But was looking okay, and then just complained about front wheel locking, and he just lost all feeling, ran off the track a couple of times, put it into his race. So another tough weekend for our Darren Binder. Let's reset. Let's go to Phillip Island, a track that he loves, a track that I think he's going to go really well at, although I think everyone's going to go really well at. But they haven't been there for a couple of years, so let's see. But he just needs a bit of confidence now, Darren Binder. Hate seeing him like that, but I know that he's going to have his head up and just get to Phillip Island and reset and go from there. So it was an absolutely fabulous race day. We'll delve into more details in Talking MotoGP tomorrow night, Monday night, live on the Motor Rider World Facebook page from 8 p.m. South African time. So make sure you tune in. We've got so much to talk about. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a trivia question that you can all answer for me on our Monday night show. Who and when was the last Yamaha rider to win other than Fabio Quartararo? I just got lazy and I got hungry and I want to go eat my food. So I haven't done my research there. So I'm going to leave it up to you. Let's answer that question on Monday night. I pretty much have an idea. It's Franco Morbidelli, I think for sure. What racetrack? I'm not 100% sure. But there's a little bit of trivia, a little bit of homework for you all to do heading into our Talking MotoGP Monday night. Yep, that's it for my notes. We'll delve deep into what was a very exciting and soaking wet Thailand round. Talking MotoGP Monday night. That's it from Paddock Talk Thailand. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for plenty more videos, MotoGP and sports bikes from all around the world.